Hey everyone, we're going to do a review on Decart AI, the company that has been taking the internet by storm by having 1 million users in under 3 days. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Awesome. Oasis is their first product, okay? So imagine an interactive video game, but generated end-to-end by a language model on a frame-by-frame basis. So if you're scared about The Matrix or any type of AI video game or whatnot that we're going to be stuck in forever and ever, then this video is probably not for you. But it is happening, and Descartes is leading the frontier in this industry. And so what does a company or a startup have to do with René Descartes or a philosopher? And he has a very nice quote that says, "I think, therefore I am." And so obviously René Descartes, as the name Descartes suggests, right now we're having a little marketing / branding type of course, but I think this is a genius play in terms of their branding and their logo and everything, because obviously Descartes, one of the founders of modern rationalism, he founded a lot of things, but I think, therefore I am, I think it's very consistent with what they're trying to do inside of their startup, right? So by a thought, you're able to create the world around you on a frame-by-frame basis. And so we're getting closer to that world where just by the thought that you're thinking, you could go ahead and create reality. And obviously, beyond his famous quote, "I think, therefore I am," he also combined analytical geometry, so having algebra and geometry pointing together, Cartesian coordinate system, so using points in space, mathematical notations for specific use cases, of course, and the physiology, his certain theses around the machine and man, and combining both of them. So I think there's a lot of interesting themes around his discoveries and, of course, this startup. And I think it's an amazing way to combine and, of course, have a nice wordplay, Descartes, as a name of a startup. Maybe this is not true, and this is just my analysis and what I think, but if it is true, then this is masterclass 101 on marketing and branding, and so it's an amazing job. Anyways, so on the research and development side, so they are actually creating a next frame prediction system. So this is what Oasis is all about. So this is trained on millions of hours of Minecraft gameplay and recordings of the relevant actions a user would execute inside of the game. What's interesting is I read an article on TechCrunch that might say that maybe there's interesting play with some legal play, because maybe they have a system for Microsoft specifically. Microsoft gave them some kind of access to it or whatnot because it's owned by Microsoft. But the interesting thing here is that maybe there's going to be a legal issue if they didn't speak to Microsoft. So this is an interesting thing that we're going to have to see as the company develops. Right now, this is the POC stage. So if you've been inside of the website, of course, we see it's a low resolution game, 360 pixels, and it's very hard to move around and use the product and whatnot, but it is a great start, especially when you compare it to, for example, the beginning of the internet and what video games have been now. Obviously, as technology develops, things will develop as well for Oasis and Descartes as a whole. But more interestingly, they actually also partnered with Etched, and they actually they plan to overcome the challenges of hardware and software scalability by developing this chip that we see here, which claims to boost performance tenfold compared to an NVIDIA chip. So they're calling the chip Sohu, and they're betting on it in about a year from now. So we'll see exactly how everything comes about, but this is a very good start for the startup, especially when they raised $21 million from leading investors. This is something we'll talk about as well. Awesome. So let's keep going. So what are the challenges they're addressing? So the hardware and software is a huge part of that equation. So obviously high operating costs, not able to go ahead and have the technology come to par to what we want to have eventually in the future, but also the efficiency and scalability. So having this use case, which is real-time applications, is very difficult. And this is what they're targeting when they're creating their startup, and probably why they raise so much money. And of course, the large data sets and complex tasks that you have to do on a real-time basis if you want to do actions like creating a house or whatever it may be for Minecraft, right? So this is definitely the things to look up for when they're looking at the challenges. What are their core value propositions? So the live gameplay generation. So this is what we talked about, and this is what we will see in just a bit. Inference technology. This is what Sequoia Capital and other VCs and just anyone in general is really interested in, the way Decart is handling the situation. But they've found a way so that their frames per second have significantly improved compared to the other standards inside of the industry. And of course, they're creating a new paradigm. They're entering into a different market, or creating a market rather. And so future models inspired by Oasis could lead to applications where users could customize experiences in entertainment and gaming, not only gaming. This is just a POC. This is only a replica of Minecraft. And so you're able to significantly be creative by using these models and using the card technology. And so this is what they're really bringing to the table, and we're very excited to see what's going to happen when they come out with the Sohu chip in partnership with Etched. So how do they stack up in comparison to other models? So here we have a nice comparison with Runway and OpenAI Sora. So here the latency, which is absolutely insane, is 0.04 seconds per frame, okay? And what's crazy is that, yes, the resolution is 360p, but the OpenAI Sora is 10 to 20 seconds per 1 second video, and it is 1080p. So maybe they have an advantage on the resolution, but again, I think the latency is pretty significant. And Runway Gen 2, this is something that we're going to see here as well, and Gen 3 as well. This is a nice bar chart comparing Oasis with the other ones. And this is the FPS, right? So frames per second. So here you can see that it has 20. You could see the differences between the different companies. Awesome. So just some number crunching. So they raised $21 million from Sequoia Capital and Oren Zeev. 20 FPS at 360p resolution. They currently have 25 employees scattered around Tel Aviv, San Francisco, and other countries as well. And their model currently supports a 500 million parameter model for Oasis specifically. So this is a nice chart that they actually came about on Twitter. So Oasis V1 has surpassed 1 million users in 3 days and 7 hours since the launch. So obviously the y-axis has the million users, and the x-axis you could see the different hours that people have played on ever since the launch of Oasis specifically. So which is very impressive numbers for a startup that just came about. Even Elon Musk said, wow, this is happening fast. And this obviously is AI generated worlds, right? Complete simulations, matrix types environments. And so this is what they're leading, right? And it's super interesting. By the way, Oasis, now that I think about it, is also an interesting name, because an oasis is usually in a desert, and in the desert you have a mirage, and in a mirage you could have kind of hallucinations, or maybe you're seeing something that's you're not supposed to see. And so I think it's also very consistent with the way they're communicating with their market, and I think that I just thought about that right now, but maybe I'm wrong. Awesome. So we talked about the investors, so who led these rounds, so Sequoia and Ventures. And currently right now, you could go into Oasis, try it out for free. There is a queue, so you maybe have to wait 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or whatnot. We're going to check it out in just a bit and see exactly how it is. But if you want to just see for yourself how it looks like and have a free environment, this is the time to do it. And this is the team. Dean Leitersdorf, so I hope I say that name right. Genius from Technion, the Israel Institute of Technology over here. And I'm also based in Tel Aviv, who received a PhD in computer science by the age of 23. This is just to give you a quick background on who Dean is as an individual. Moshe Shalev, so entrepreneur and project manager at 8200. This is a very specialized unit in the Army for the cybersecurity and intelligence. This is in the IDF. And of course, Tal Avner, who has a very impressive background in entrepreneurship. She's a serial entrepreneur. She's been in the aerospace industry, medical industry, as well as e-commerce. She's a Zell alumni, which is a very prestigious school program in the school of the Reichman University. And she's also been a TED speaker. So they're a fully loaded team and very impressive backgrounds. And so, of course, they could go ahead and make this happen for the long run. So thank you. This is, again, before we go into the gameplay, I made this presentation using Tome app. also a generative AI tool to create this presentation. If you do like it, please reach out. I'm available on Twitter, on LinkedIn, my newsletter as well called Genworks. I'll be putting the links below in the presentation. And yeah, I think we could go inside of the gameplay. So let's go ahead and get started with it. So this is our website, Decart AI. And these are just some simulations that people have actually seen. And we'll be able to go ahead and just play now. Let me just put this down. Let's put the music. Session expired, so I have to refresh. Okay, it's my turn. Let's go into go inside of the matrix. And this is how it looks like. So I have 10 minutes left. Apparently I could see it on the top. Okay, everything you see here is AI generated in real time by Decart and etched. And here you could see also at the bottom some kind of functionality, some keyboard, some kind of HUD, HUD, so that you could go ahead and actually interact with it. So we can move using the keywords, key letters rather, WASD, moving. So I'm just using my MacBook right now. I don't have a mouse. This is just, I could go ahead and jump. Let's see, move around. I'm not gonna build anything. This is just a quick walkthrough. So this is pretty crazy, right? You're able to actually play, and as you move, everything is completely AI generated. I actually heard some things that people are not so happy because when you turn around, it's completely, everything has been scratched or modified or whatnot. And so there is a lot of work to be done. But as a demo, this is actually pretty impressive, right? I could go ahead and just move around my cursor, jump. If I do control, I could run. This is a very bad gameplay, but I think you get the point. And yeah, I think we're just gonna give it for now. I don't know what's going on inside of my screen, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment below about any other AI tool or product you want me to do a presentation of. Decart looks absolutely amazing for what it is right now, especially at the early stages. We should definitely give them a shout out. Follow them on Twitter, on Hugging Face if you're a developer, on GitHub as well. They have all the documentation there. I could pull it below. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this, and I'll see you in the next video.